First off, before we start really talking, forgive me if there's a lot of weird cuts in this video because I am messaging with somebody right now, and it's like almost 10 o'clock at night, but I want to shoot this video while it's fresh on my minds. So yeah, let's talk about my mental health. Um, but first, you know how we do. You know how we do. I'm gonna do a second one. This is, by the way, a strain that my homeboy just grew. I don't know what the name of the strain is, but he grew it himself because that's what everybody does in Virginia now. Is they just grow their own, except for me because I can't grow my own. I digress. But it's fresh. It just finished curing, so cheers. Nice. Uh, so it's been about 3 years or so, I think, guesstimating, since I did that whole video about quitting the Seroquel, and I never really did an update to that. You guys have just kind of watched me spiral into whatever the fuck this is now since then. But it's definitely, that's one of the things we're talking about right now. It's definitely been a roller coaster of a ride. The cannabis alone did not do as nearly as well as a mood stabilizer as I was hoping. Um, I had always, I mean, I've been medicating with cannabis since I was like, I think 13 or 14, something like that, but um, most of the time did take other medicines. Um, well, there was back at, off and on because they tried me with a lot of different medications that didn't work. And if you watch the other videos from the Stony Shaman's Corner about the charter scam and stuff, um, a lot of those medications ended up really badly, and the Seroquel did too. Is just the Seroquel was the least bad of all the antipsychotics that I tried, but the Seroquel gave me diabetes, and was having me gain all kind of crazy weight, and the honestly, one of the worst things about it was just that if I took it on an empty stomach, or if I took it on a full stomach, excuse me, it didn't, like the food absorbed most of the medicine. So it didn't work, which meant that I was going to be up all night. And if I'll get to you in a second, but so you had to take it on an empty stomach. And sometimes I could eat just 4 hours before taking the medicine, and it's still, the food would end up absorbing it. So you never knew how long the Seroquel was going to take to kick in. So, I'd be getting, you get dizzy spells and shit over top of a frying pan. Forget about it, So I was living off of like microwave meals and frozen pizzas and stuff, and all the time, and and there for a long time I was like ordering out every single night. And then I was diagnosed with the diabetes, and I quit taking the Seroquel. The diabetes disappeared. I lost, like, was it like 80 pounds or something? I'm back up, I think, another 10 pounds from the initial weight that I lost. But I was up to like 340 at one point, and then the lowest I got back down was 260. And then keep in mind, I lost all that weight without exercising or eating right. I mean, I did start making my food on the stove because now I could, well, not stove, but usually Instant Pot or the Foreman or, the New Wave stovetop thing. But, you know, it's cray cray. Well, that was weird. Um, One of the lights went out, and now the other one just went out. Um, I don't know because I didn't read the documentation if that means that the battery is getting low, or if that means that they have like a battery saving feature that makes it turn itself off after so long. That would seem weird for something that you're using to make videos with, but I don't know. It's possible. It's probably batteries low. I haven't done a whole lot of testing with these lights, and I do have them like kind of blasted at 100% right now. Um, but I digress. And I've been these past few days because the online pharmacy, sent my medication to the old address instead of the new address for some reason. And then, I'm still waiting several days later for the replacement medication. So I haven't had any medication at all. I mean, well, other than weed and like the metoprolol and stuff, but not my hydroxyzine, nothing to help with the anxiety or anything. And these past few days, just 100, 100, well, past several days, my anxiety is like through the roof. My anxiety is possibly as high as it's ever fucking been. My heart is beating like 1,000 times a fucking minute. These past few days, it's fucking rough, man. But it's not all, bad news. Um, because the big thing about going off of the Seroquel was getting a lot of my like creativity back. Um, I feel like I've been so much more creative um, since going off of the Seroquel, and starting to learn how to do music videos and stuff. Um, the the real bad thing is though is that that my mind is like back to that you know 100 miles an hour speed, and ideas are just like constantly in and out of my head. Like, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this, I want to do that. And there's only so much time in a fucking day. Um, and so it gets hard to contain all that because there's like so much that I want to do that it becomes like overwhelming. And then, that thing where sometimes you just don't get anything done because you want to do everything at once and you can't do everything at once. You know, I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one that ever feels that way, but I know that I'm not the only one who's constantly like over fucking thinking every single thing. Um, but uh, you know, and the other part of that is too that I feel like when my front, assuming that my frontal lobe fully grew in, by the time that it would have, um, I was already like drugged up with antipsychotics and shit, and was continually up until that video, or a few years ago, um, about when I was weaning down off of the Seroquel. That was the first time since, was it 1999? I started taking it in 98 or 99, I think. So that was the first time that I had gone off of it completely a few years ago. And, you know, it really did feel like a big fog was lifted off of my mind, and I started seeing things a little bit differently, and I started, um, how do I want to say this? I started putting things together a little bit more. I started, I want to say remembering things, but it's not like they were things that I forgot. It was just that, I don't know. I guess I just wasn't really thinking about it um, the right way. Or, I wasn't facing it, I guess is the word. I wasn't trying to deal with that. I'm not going to get into specifics, just if you watched that video on this channel, then you know what I'm talking about. That was, kind of that fog lifting that led me to go ahead and make that video and tell that story. And yes, I know there's a lot of people out there saying, you know, um, I'm not supposed to talk about it. And, um, we had a couple trolls, but I went ahead and deleted those. Usually, I'm not going to delete comments unless it's just straight up harassment or uh, something that's sensitive. Fuck you. Otherwise, I'll have fun with the trolls. Um, we don't get too many around here, and the ones that we do usually get are so lame that it's just what was that shit the one dude said? It's funny how fat you are. I'm like, yeah, ain't nothing a couple cheeseburgers can't solve. Bring that shit on. I have fun with that. I am one of the most self-deprecating motherfuckers I've ever known. 100, 100. Yeah, no. Uh, but I will say that in a large part, I feel now um, like kind of like I've sacrificed my mental health for the sake of my art, because I do have the doctors, wanting me to try. I think it was Lamictal, something like that, that they want me to try, and I'm just like, I don't want to. You know, I'll be 100. I'm scared that the Lamictal's gonna have some negative something like every other fucking psychotropic, psychiatric, whatever medication has. You know, the lithiums and the Prozacs and all of that shit, the Wellbutrins and all of that shit. That shit killed my creativity completely, and they all stopped working right after a while. And I think it was the Tegretol. Um, I actually had an accidental overdose on that shit because nobody ever told me. Well, they told me to take it at the same time every day, but they didn't tell me why. And they didn't explain how toxic the Tegretol is, because Tegretol is basically a lithium, as I understand it. And, they weren't, more importantly, they weren't checking my toxicity levels. And so I woke up paralyzed one morning, because I'd been taking this Tegretol at different times in the day. They told me I should take it at the same time every day, but again, they didn't stress how important that was. Nothing, and I forget to take it in the morning, so I take it in the afternoon. And I forget to take it in the morning, didn't think about it in the afternoon, I take it in the evening. I did that shit for months and months and months. And then I wake up to go deliver newspapers that morning, paralyzed. You know, mom came to wake me up to go deliver newspapers, and I was just completely paralyzed. I couldn't move at all. Uh, had me in the hospital for, I think it was like a week. After that, like I had to remember like learning to walk and like seeing the nurses at the end of the hall like cheering, when I walk all the way down the hall. But you know what the worst I think part of that fucking experience was? You know, you know, shame me for saying this if you want. The the worst part of that experience was just, you know, they give you all that charcoal and different shit, to make you expel the toxins. And they had me up in this bed with these pretty fucking nurses. These nurses were just like fucking beautiful, like either an angel falling from heaven or a demon busting out of hell. However you want to look at it, but they was beautiful. They was beautiful. And all I can do is shit the bed. All I can do is shit the bed. I'm paralyzed, so I can't like move around or position. All I can do is lay there and shit the fucking bed. And I know, yes, the nurses understood. They weren't gonna like judge me for shitting the bed while I'm paralyzed or whatever. But goddamn, man. It don't stop it from like hurting inside, so fucking humiliating. Um, but I can laugh about it now, but goddamn, man. Goddamn, man. Goddamn, man. Um, experience, that was the one accidental overdose. All of the other ones, just, full transparency, 100, 100, cards on the table, however you want to say it, that was the only one of my overdoses that was accidental. The big one in 96, I think it was, that shit was, well, it wasn't entirely on purpose, but it kind of was. Um, it mostly was. All the other ones were fully intentional. Um, you know, what's weird about that though is that I almost died. I got paralyzed from taking the Tegretol, um, like at different times of the day. But then I took like almost a whole bottle of lithium, and well, I mean, I guess I did almost die or did die, but I didn't like wake up paralyzed. Well, I guess whatever. I guess I'm not making sense. I'm not rationalizing that right because I took that bottle of lithium and pretty much just jumped straight to the death part. Uh, um, but I don't know. I don't remember how I got to the hospital or anything. I just know that I did and I flatlined. But anyway, I diverge or whatever. Splurgy splurge. But you know, I've got myself back into therapy. I'm going to support groups and, uh, you know, a whole bunch of stuff. I've completely left the porn industry. Well, if you could say I was really a part of the porn industry, I made porn music videos for a while, and that's done. That's over. Cash, capiche. Mwah, see you later, beach. Um, I'm just trying to do everything that I can to just be better than I was. And sometimes it's hard because, like I say, my moods are all over the fucking place. Some days I wake up, I just can't get anything done because I just don't fucking feel like it. But, and then some days, like, I want to do everything at once. But, where was I going? That's the tricky part because I am all over the place. I'm doing better at a lot of things. I'm feel like I'm always a little bit better than I was. It's just that my mind is um, a little bit gone. Uh, you know, and just like fucked up shit keeps happening over and over and over and over and over. I'm, taking it and dealing with things the best that I can. Um, but, you know, the important thing is that I survive. You know, we are the ones that live, or whatever. Don't no spoilers because they took off my AMC. Boo! So I haven't watched any of it yet. But you know, it, all I know how to do when things are hard like this is to wake up in the morning, drink 3 Mountain Dews, eat a slice of magic pie with coffee, and then zone out for the rest of the day and sort of try again. Um, that's what I meant to say. Get up in the morning and try again. Uh, but, you know, sometimes 3 Mountain Dews, coffee, and a slice of, well, the slice of magic pie will pretty much claim your day. Let's be real. But, just try again. That's, all I really know how to do because it's not that, I'm not, it's not that I'm not having suicidal thoughts because here's the secret to that, even when I was still on the Seroquel, is that I'm almost always having suicidal thoughts. I just don't have suicidal plans. That's the difference. I can't control all the time how I feel. And sometimes I think that even though my moods are all over the place, it's not trying to solve my depression and things with drugs. At least those drugs, as just, I think, creates more problems than it really solves. Um, if this would just work as a better mood stabilizer, then I'd probably be gold. Uh, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. Or maybe there's just a better way of trying it that using it. Maybe RSO would work better as a mood stabilizer, but I don't really think so. Um, but, I've got a lot of medication trauma. It's the short way that I could have just summed all of that shit up without having to rehash all of my overdoses and, trips into the psychiatric hospitals and shit. But, um, you know, I 100, I don't mind talking about this stuff completely. It's just sometimes I forget that other people don't want to hear it. So, retrospect warning, content warning, retrospect content warning, and one of the lights just went out again. I'm pretty sure that means the batteries, but that's okay. Our, you know, hysterectomy gram is a little bit off to one side, um, but we're at full 360 D's nuts exposure, and am I auto focusing? Uh, you know, yeah, yeah. Let's not get sidetracked by the camera shit. Uh, but, I don't really even have a moral to any of this. It's just my crazy fucking life. It's just my crazy fucking life. And I'll be really, really honest with you. Um, you know, you see me wearing this shirt, um, when I say that I'm a suicidal tendencies fan, that's kind of understating it a little bit because anybody who listens to suicidal will probably know exactly what I'm saying when I'm saying, like, I don't like who I am. You know, there's a million things about myself that I fucking hate. Um, but I'm gonna wake up in the morning, you know. I'm gonna wake up in the morning. I'm gonna try again. I'm gonna blaze a brand new trail, as they say. You know, um, no matter what, I have to do what I have to do because I'm a suicidal failure. I lost it again, and I learned that no matter what I do, no matter how hard I try, you know, I don't know if there's, I don't know if there's a external higher power or not. I mean, I know, nature and, all of that stuff, but as far as like some divine God or whatever, I have no idea. I have no idea. But I am very convinced, I will say, not a hypothesis, a theory, um, that I'm just not going to die until I die. You know, um, maybe, um, you know, whatever reason, I should have been dead 1,000 times by now. I should have been dead 1,000 times by now. Not literally 1,000 times, but like at least a dozen. Um, and even with some of the shit that wasn't an actual like suicide attempt or something, like when they were trying me on that Geodon bullshit that had me lighting up cigarettes in my fucking sleep. I would wake up with cigarettes falling on my chest and burning me. I got like probably a dozen shirts in there with cigarette and blankets with cigarette burns in there because of that shit. And it's amazing I didn't set myself on fire. I mean, maybe I did, and this is just like the Bermuda Triangle or whatever that conspiracy theory is. I have no idea because I just made it up. But I'm saying, um, I do want to move this microphone up a little bit since I'm leaning back and get my fucking lighter magneted on the bottom of it. But, you know, I do. I don't want to close out this video without saying, something positive. Looking forward. Um, all I can really, I guess, say is that, you know, well, to further expound on what I was saying about, the suicidal thing. Um, I am suicidal for life, but this is the thing. Discovering suicidal tendencies made the band made me start to believe that I wasn't the only one. Suicidal tendencies, as in my personal suicidal tendencies, I'm going to be suicidal for life. Or at least, I have been. up to this point. And this is the thing. I wear that as a tattoo on my shoulder as both a nod to the band, Mike Muir and Suicidal Tendencies, and as a reminder because I've fallen down, you know, that proverbial, we'll say proverbial 1,000 times. But I've gotten back up those proverbial 1,000 times. And I'm not going to follow through with any suicidal planning, or at least I'm not planning to plan to follow through with any suicidal planning because, quite frankly, I'm a coward, one. Two, I don't think it'll work. And three, it's just pointless. And sometimes, I get a little caught up in delusional type of thinking and just uh, look for a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Um, and so I'm constantly trying to weigh my thoughts and ideas because they can get diluted. Thoughts can definitely get diluted. And, a delusion starts off like any other idea as an egg. It's, are you going to let that egg hatch? And then when it hatches, are you going to let it become a chicken? Or are you going to eat it? Uh, that's the important thing because I haven't eaten yet. Uh, I'm sorry. I'm being all serious, but I can't help but cut up because that's how I deal sometimes. That's just how I deal sometimes. But I really did not intend this video to end on go to a sad note. Maybe I'll just delete a whole bunch of this shit. I don't know. No, I mean I'm not because you know the reason I'm not gonna delete this, even though and still post it publicly, is just because um, you know like that other video that we did about my history and my story. Um, I've thought about taking that down, at least a dozen times, a literal at least a dozen times. And the thing that stops me every time is the thought that maybe somebody's out there that needs to see it. And so maybe that with this too, you know, um, I'm doing bad, but I'm going to make it. I'm doing badly, but I'm going to make it. And I got weed to, weed. I talked a lot of shit on weed for, not being a good mood stabilizer, but it is definitely a good mood mellower. And it is also a very good blood pressure reducer. And it helps keep me safe from me. 100, 100. People have been, the bullshit that has been taught in those medical texts for 100 years about cannabis increasing psychosis and all of that. You know, come on. We all know by now that that's bullshit. I mean, how many stoned people have you ever been around that were just balls out psychotic? I have watched a million motherfuckers, myself included, smoke and be less psychotic. I've met a couple people that seem to get a little bit more psychotic, when they smoked, but those were also people that were already extremely psychotic. Um, you know, R.I.P. George, you crazy fucking bastard. But R.I.P. my dude. Um, you know, even you deserve peace. Even you deserve peace. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up because it is like 10:30 at night, and I haven't even thought about making my dinner yet. I might just make some sandwiches because I don't really feel like cooking. Um, but yeah, I mainly was not planning on going on this whole ramble sesh. I was just gonna talk about update on the Seroquel thing. But unfortunately, I mean, like I said, my mental health has declined, sort of. I mean, it's let me re-clarify that whole fucking thing. Um, my mental health is better and worse at the same time. Um, my moods are all over the place. Um, my anxiety is through the roof. Um, but my mental clarity, or well, time is a lot hazier, like it used to be when I was like younger. Um, like everything's like almost a blur. Like everything just bleeds together almost. But I was gonna say, I am more clear in recognizing things now. I'm definitely, recognize things and am better at putting, you know, two and two together, I guess, um, and weighing those thoughts and examining things for the way that they are. Uh, and more than anything, just trying to be reasonable about everything and logical. And, you know, one of the best things I ever did for myself was deciding to start, uh, you know, taking the superstition out of everything. you know, Whenever I need to try to explain something, I am pretty sure this whole time that all of this has been in focus instead of me. If so, I am sorry. Um, but, focusing is definitely something that has declined, except for like when I'm editing. Like when I'm editing, I'm like nitpicky as fuck. Um, but that's the other thing is that I am also more creative. Um, I feel like I am a lot more creative off of the Seroquel. Uh, and the other light just went out. What do you know? Um, we ran these little lights into the ground. I guess poor little lights. They tried to keep up. Um, to be fair, I have been filming for 45 minutes now, and like probably an hour or so before this. So yeah, I really need to wrap this up because this has been a long ass video. Maybe I should just completely redo the whole fucking thing. I don't know. See, that's what I'm saying. I'm all fucked up. I don't know what to do. uh, so yeah. Anyway, I am rambling way too much. So let me just cut this right here and say, I'm sorry if this was, largely depressing. It probably was. Um, But we're going to wake up in the morning. We're going to have another day. And I'm still, working on content, and I'm not planning on quitting. I've been telling you guys that for, what's it been now, 5, 6 years on YouTube or whatever. We're not doing unboxings anymore and stuff, or at least not regularly, but we're doing stuff because that's just what I do and stuff. Um, yeah, so we got lots of fun stuff coming up. I'm going to prioritize this to go in front, whatever cut I end up making of this, um, to go in front of all the videos that I've got left to either publish, upload, or edit, and a few more to shoot. So, you know, we definitely, I think the Ulanzi FM01 video is the next one to come up. That one's already uploaded and everything. I just got to tag it, publish it, and well, upload it for Facebook. But, anyway, yeah. I love you. I will be back with more stuff. And yeah, I'll still wake up in the morning, baby. I love you. Bye. But hi, this is a camera lens. Hello, camera lens. Camera lens. How do you do? Nice to meet you. I'm glad that you two have met.